Good morning, Facebook, Instagram family, TikTok, and YouTube. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Back to the World, my brother and my sister's keeper. I'm Tony. Thank you guys for joining me this morning. The music that you hear in the background that we're enjoying for our entertainment, we don't own the rights to. But if you kindly hit us in the boxes down below in your any questions or comments or to share, man, please hit us, man. Click those buttons, all right? Like, care, share. Even if you disagree, just hit us this morning, all right? I come to you on this beautiful Saturday morning, man. Again, not a cloud in the sky. We got a nice breeze. It's gonna warm up a little bit more, but for right now, just sitting still right here, I feel a nice little breeze. Okay. Uh, mm. This morning we're gonna talk about. But let me make a PSA announcement. But any of you that's interested in purchasing the Batana oil, 100% raw, uncut, virgin Batana oil, straight from the jungles of Honduras, we have access to it. Okay? If you're interested in purchasing, visit our website at www.gloosud.com. Again, that's www.gloosud.com. All right? I hope I said that right, man. I'm just all thrown off this morning, man. But anyway, it's called Glow. It's Glow Suds, but it's Glow spelled with two O's. Okay, that's what gets me thrown off. Again, www.gloosud.com. There we go. And you can order your 2-ounce or your 4-ounce jars of 100% pure raw Batana oil. And if you're interested in purchasing as a distributor yourself, we can wholesale it to you. So we sell liters as well. And visit our site, and that will explain to you all the details that you need. But if in fact you don't go to the site, you can inbox me. You can inbox me at the spaces down below. Okay? And we can go from there. All right? Hold on just a second. Good morning, brother Jesse. You're live. What's going on?
Oh man, I'm calling to check out your well-being. I said, can I get a chance to call you back today? You said I'm alive.
Yeah. Yeah, brother. What you got going on?
I thought you were about to say you're live, Jesse. I was like, oh shit, I think you said I'm alive.
Nah, you that too.
What I lied about?
Nah, I said you're live.
Live.
Yeah.
Oh, you seen my live?
No, brother.
I'm alive.
I tell you that you're on live right now.
Oh, you want to call me back, man?
Okay, I was telling you live. Yeah, hey, yeah, you didn't want to stick around? Hold up, this one went up.
Yeah, I can stick around.
Yeah, let me call this one clicked off. Hold on, let me delete it.
How long you was on it for? You was almost finished?
No, I just got on, brother.
Well, stay on it, because I just was checking on your web. I ain't going to be on the phone that long with you. I just want to check on you right quick, see how you was doing.
Okay, well, look. I got a little subject I'm going to talk about this morning with the audience, man. And,
all right.
And I'll hit you right back.
Yeah, take your time. That's all. I'm just checking in on you.
Okay, then. I appreciate it. All right. Bye-bye. Sorry, this camera went out, y'all. So finicky here. All right, gang. Anybody else that comes on, man? I'll tell you, it's a process. Gonna let that camera get started, man. I know many of y'all, man. Hey, man, please forgive me, man. You're talking to a guy that's practically 70 years old, and he's all on social media. All right. So I mean, please bear with me, man. Give me grace, all right. Every now and then we get things correct. All right. Just bear with us. I mean, the information that I'm giving, I'm hoping that's always true to form. All right. But good morning, everybody. But this morning, I just want to share with you guys. The presidential elections are over. Half the country is happy. The other half is sad and angry. But no matter what the situation, we must get through it together. All right? Man, I hate when this phone here just keeps on. I don't know, man. It irritates me when I see one of the cameras blank off and then it says it's trying to come back on. So I'm just gonna let it do its thing. If it stays off, man, it just stays off, and don't reconnect. Pisses me off, actually. Oh my gosh, I don't know what's the deal. But anyway, no matter what's the outcome, we got to get through this together for the next 4 years, come bad or come worse. All right? And most of us, I'm going to see if I can't change that camera, y'all. See if I can't change it. Please bear with me. I had something I wanted to read to you guys, but I'll come back to it. I have a bad connection or something. Okay, we're back on. I don't know what caused it. But, okay, we're going to try. Oh, Lord. Okay. Again, we was talking about politics of it all, and how half the country is happy, the other half is sad, angry, and what have you. All right. Brothers and sisters, voting, period, is important. That's a right that we fought for as a people. We fought to vote. We fought for that right. And this is basically without you going out putting a gun to somebody's head and trying to force them to do what you want them to do by what's right by you. The closest thing you can do to get those persons that's in position to do these things for you is to vote. All right? I mean, we can't explain it no other way. You're not doing this shit for a sport. You're doing it because it's your right. And a lot of us, we do it for a sport, like we're voting for a team, like we're choosing this team versus that team. Nah, you're voting for someone that has your life in the balance in their hands. Okay? I'm gonna lower this music for a minute because I really want you to hear me when I say this, when I talk about this. Although it's important to vote for a president and who's going to be, leading this country and what have you, I think as a people, it's more important that we vote in our local, county, and state midterm elections, because these are the people that's going to decide certain things for you that will best benefit you. Because see, whatever happens at the federal level, at the country's level, it's going to be federal. And in many instances, the federal laws and the state laws are going to be separated. And see, and Donald Trump gave you a perfect example of that when it comes to the abortion clinics and Roe versus Wade. He said that he wanted to take it away from different states or what have you that didn't agree, or people that didn't agree with Roe versus Wade. So he took it away from them by making it a federal law, and then those states are to determine individually if they can have abortion clinics, or can you go past a certain time if a woman can choose or what have you. And you know, doctors won't be convicted for helping someone that may have been raped or may have a problematic pregnancy. You understand? So in one way, I get it. I'm not saying it's good, but it benefits. And whenever it benefits someone, it saves one life, it's good. So I take that back. You know, in one way, it's good. In another way, you know, it's a form of control. But sometimes when laws get into effect this way, man, the only way you can challenge it is to vote. Or you have to understand the law and you have to move within the laws to circumvent it. So you can beat it, if you will, or just get along. Okay? So, you know, this entire country over the past 4.5 years have been about people who are woke, right? And you know, amongst the conscious, when people would say he's awakened, it means that you've come out of a slumber, you come out of a sleep. Woke simply means to be aware. Now we feel bad. We feel badly if someone say, man, they're the woke generation, they're woke. And now we're like, hey, don't point that finger at me calling me woke, calling me out of my name. See, those who don't understand consider it a bad thing. But if someone calls you woke and they're awakened, then they're complimenting you. They're complimenting you on your keen sense of awareness. Okay? So what happened a couple of years ago, Texas voted on a bill that made it the entire country was on anything that's dealing with woke. The country didn't want to talk about slavery, but they pressed the issue, and in many states, they ruled on certain things that would, believe it or not, oppress the black culture that's in America. This is the only culture that we have, right? American history, for all of its warts, it's our history too that were born here in this country, because we planted a lot of seeds here. We staked a lot of claims. And for someone white wanting to suppress the history of blacks, and let's say that their sons or daughters are married to someone that's black, now you're suppressing the history of your grandkids. But it goes to show how cold and callous you can be to take away the one thing that's most valuable to your grandchild than anything on this earth, and that's the history of oneself. And that's being woke, right? So I was watching the news this morning, and CNN. And I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he was a teacher, and he was a member of the Texas State School Board and everything. and he was talking about, this bill was appealed. U.S. Senate Bill number 3. It was appealed in the state of Texas. Well, just the other day they upheld it. They upheld that bill, and I want to read to you what that bill says, right? Because the gentleman that was on TV, he was saying that this is something that's major that's happening within the school system, and I totally agree. I talked about it a few years back. Okay, let me read a little bit for you. It says Texas Classroom Censorship Law, Senate Bill 3, in parentheses SB 3, censors classroom instruction and certain school conversations about race, gender, and systemic oppression. It limits the teaching of accurate, comprehensive, and truthful accounts of U.S. history, current events, and society. Okay? That's that part. Let me see if I can see this other part, ladies and gentlemen. My eyes are kind of bad here. Right? And it goes and it says Senate Bill 3, in parentheses SB 3, is a Texas law that restricts how teachers can discuss slavery in public schools. Teaching about slavery cannot, they say teachers cannot teach that slavery was part of the founding of the United States, or that it was anything other than a deviation from American values. Teaching about race. Teachers cannot teach that one race or sex is inherently superior to another. Teaching about controversial issues. Teachers cannot be compelled to discuss controversial public policy issues. All right. SB 3 also limits the teaching of accurate and truthful accounts of U.S. history, current events, and society. Right. Now, this is Texas, and it's catching on in many other states. Right? But now, if you go into the teachings of the Holocaust, and that's the oppression, the extermination, and the genocide of the Jewish race. It's going to tell you everything that was done in Germany and how the Jewish race was annihilated, and it was placed in concentration camps. They were tortured, they were starved to death, and the whole bit. Right? There's an imbalance. There's an imbalance of the optics of two particular people that were exterminated and oppressed the whole bit. And seeing what America is doing is saying this, okay, anything that happened, if there were any lynchings, any beheadings, any executions, or anything that happened outside of this country, in Europe, the Middle East, or Asia, or even South America, we can talk about it, and we can talk about it in great detail. But we don't want to talk about it in our country. We don't want to talk about it here, because that'll put a blemish or a black eye on our society the whole bit. So, ladies and gentlemen, you right now you're too late to the party, because this train has already left the station. And see, that's what happens when we fall asleep. And this is why I say that the local politics are more important than the presidential politics if you got your shit together on the local level. Okay? See, because when it comes to the rates that are rising with our utility company, our phone companies and what have you, all of that is local. That is in the local, city, and the state infrastructure. These are the things that you challenge with city government about: your sewer system, your garbage pickups, your buildings, and what the builders and insurance agencies are required to do within the parameters of fairness in your city, state, or county. You know, a while back, if many of you have watched, then you know my story. A while back, and I just want to say this for the record, I am a card-carrying Republican. I'm a card-carrying Republican. Have I ever voted Republican? No. Right? And, you know, and I think if with this election, had I been able to vote, I probably would not have. But, you know, that's just the place where we are right now, or whatever the situation may be. But I don't sway one side versus the other or anything like that. See, if you're hungry, and let's say that each of these parties are lined up on opposites, and one is to feed you, and the other one is just to provide you something other than food, which one would you vote for? Or which one can get you to the meal the fastest? That's how you vote. You vote based on your survival and your fairness. Okay? But if you got your shit together at a local level, that means that everything that happened locally, you know, it works for you. Now, when it gets on a federal level, the whole bit, that's outside your pay grade, or whatever the situation may be, or things that are going on in Washington that doesn't affect you. See, you know, you hope that the rest of the country feel the way that you feel about certain things, and they will vote on that. But you have more control at your local level, right? Your state representatives, your city congressman, your city council, your congressmen and women, all right, your judges in your city and state. These are the people that's going to affect your life and make a difference in an immediate time frame. And these elections come up every 2 years, right? But we fell asleep. We fell asleep at the wheel when it came to this. Now, black teachers, how can you talk about the United States history and not talk about the contribution of blacks? You would let that go, but only to a certain degree. But let's say there's someone, let's say that Harriet Tubman. She's known for the Underground Railroad. That's almost the only thing that you can talk about. Whenever you talk about Harriet Tubman, you talk about her being an educator and a philanthropist. If you can't go into why, her story is in the annals of American history. See, if you talk about Frederick Douglass, all you can say is that he was once a slave and what have you. You can't talk about Jefferson and I can't think of her name right now, but anyway, you know, you can't talk about how he had kids by a black woman. You gotta acknowledge that black woman. How did she come in close proximity with Thomas Jefferson? Because she was one of his slaves. You have to let that out. So what happened? Now they want to sugarcoat it and they want to say that she gave consented sex. How do we know that? See, because as a slave, she has no consent. You know?
Hello, Moto.
Yeah, as a slave, she has no consent. Just a second, Danny. Good morning, Danny.
Hey, Dad.
How you doing?
I'm okay. I got my oil, but I only got one bottle.
What's the size of it, Danny? Take a picture of it. Because here's the thing, right? I have Mitch told me that as well. Look at it. I know it might say 1 liter, but if you got 74 ounces, once you take it out, that's the 2. If you look on that invoice that I had, maybe he misinterpreted to me, but he has on there 4 bottles of 2.2 ounces. I mean 2.2 liters. Okay?
Okay.
You there?
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm just trying to process.
Let me take it a bit slower. I was just in the middle of a podcast, but we on here together.
All right.
Okay.
Well, call me back when you're done.
Okay, I won't be long, but look through the all the stuff that I sent you and the receipt that came from our guy over there. And on that receipt, you're gonna see 4 bottles of 2.2 liters. Okay.
Okay, if there's 4 bottles, and I was supposed to receive 2, and you received 1, and Benita has 1. That's what I'm saying. I only got 1 bottle.
Oh, no, Danny. You're supposed to get 1 liter. All of us we were supposed to get 1 liter, right? And 1 liter. And normally when we got it we got 1 bottle, which was 1 liter. This time he sent 2 liters. That would equal 2 bottles, 2 1-liter bottles. Am I making sense? Huh?
Okay, just finish the podcast and call me back.
Okay, all right. I'll call you right back. Bye-bye. Yes, guys. Sorry about that. But at any rate, our legal system, man. I mean, you can't talk about the slave and saying that she gave Thomas Jefferson consent. So he had to have imposed his will because he was her owner, if you will. You know. So that's why these things are very important. And so try to focus more on your state and local government, and your state and local elections. Try to get familiar with who's running and why, who's being represented, and who's representing you. You see? And oftentimes, and this is how you have to understand politics, if you have a Republican government in your state and the president's Republican, now although you didn't vote for that president, but there's a chance certain things can be handed down to your state, because one thing, the Republican, all of them will do that, but mainly the Republican cabinet is going to take care of the state level Republicans. It happens all the time with Republicans. But see, with Democrats, you have so many states that were considered blue states a while back, until they just took things for granted and they assumed that they were going to win anyway. And they weren't handing out any favors. They weren't passing any laws that would benefit. They wouldn't do any of this. Okay? They wouldn't do any of this. So this is what this is what happened, if you will. And the country has suffered. The country has suffered from it. Okay? So pretty much that's where we are. But at any rate, you know, as you can hear and tell, I got other business to go and attend to. But I'm glad you guys joined me, man. But it's a shame and it's a travesty. You cannot teach black history the way it needs to be taught, because it is American history in America. That's a sad day for us as a people, man. And but what that's going to do, that's going to force a lot of parents and a lot of teachers to teach classes more or less in private. So it's almost like you're going to have to get a tutorial on your history and your past, the whole bit. How are you going to take away the history? See, how are you going to, and they're not allowing it. They didn't say that. But are you going to allow Jewish history to be taught? Are you going to allow the Holocaust to be taught in American schools? Yes. It was just written. See, the Jewish race lives all over the world, but there's a large Jewish population here. Why are you going to allow their history to be taught, but you're not going to allow black history to be taught? I don't get it. Okay? I really don't. So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for joining me this morning for another episode of Back to the World. And man, enjoy your weekend. All right? Peace.